Hey there, ready for another deep dive. Today we're going to be talking about traditional karate do,
Good.
and we're really trying to get at the heart of impact in this martial art. We've
Right.
got a ton of great material from Sensei Nelson Carrión,
Oh, fantastic.
who he founded the Traditional Karate Do Institute,
Yes, the TKI.
the TKI, right?
Yeah.
Right.
What I find so interesting about his approach, when you really dig into his material, um, is this idea that impact, true impact, it's really intertwined with the very essence of karate do as he sees it.
Right.
It's not just about physical, it's mental, it's emotional, it's even, philosophical.
Yeah, it's like he's saying, it's not just about hitting hard, it's about hitting right. And one of the things that really stuck out to me early on was this idea of Todom Waza. Am I saying that right?
Yes, to the Mwaza.
Which is, if I'm understanding it correctly, this idea that the goal is to, you know, neutralize your opponent with a single decisive strike,
That's right, yeah.
which is, it sounds intense when you put it like that.
It is intense.
But not in like a sort of glorifying violence kind of way.
No, not at all.
It's more about recognizing the potential power, I guess, behind every strike.
It's like, think of a surgeon, right?
Okay.
They need that precision,
Right.
that control, a deep understanding of their tools and how to use them so that every movement counts.
Yeah.
It's that kind of energy behind Todom Waza.
So it's less about brute force and more about focused intention, like almost channeling your energy to make that one strike really, really effective.
Exactly. And that brings us to another really key concept here, which is haiwa,
Okay.
which is the Japanese word for peace.
Okay.
Now, it might seem a little contradictory
Great. Yeah.
to be talking about peace in the context of, striking and impact. But Sensei Carrión really emphasizes that true impact, true power,
Right.
comes from a foundation of peace, both within yourself and in relation to others. Have you ever noticed in your own training how, your mindset really affects how you perform?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like if I'm stressed out or I'm distracted, my technique it's just off.
Right.
But when I can get that, focused, calm, everything just kind of flows better. There's more power behind it. There's more precision.
Yeah, that's Heiwa in action.
Wow.
It's about, cultivating that inner peace.
Right.
So that your actions, including, your strikes, your blocks,
Right.
come from this place of focus, not aggression.
Yeah.
And this isn't just some, abstract idea. This is actually woven into the very fabric of his training methodology, which is a 6-stage process.
Okay, so let's break down this 6-stage method.
Yeah.
What are the key elements, and how do they tie back to this idea of impact that we've been talking about?
So imagine a pyramid, right? At the base of the pyramid, you've got the fundamentals.
Right.
Your stances, your basic strikes, just understanding, how your body moves.
Right, like the basics.
The basics, that's stage 1.
Right.
But even at this stage, the focus is on impact.
Oh, interesting.
It's not just going through the motions, it's really understanding how to generate force and how to deliver that force effectively.
So it's like building a house, right? You need a really strong foundation before you can even think about putting the roof on.
Exactly.
Oh.
And then as you move up that pyramid, you start layering in the complexity.
Okay.
So stage 2, takes those basic techniques.
Right.
And it starts incorporating them into combinations.
Okay.
Like you might see, in Kihon training, for example.
Right.
And then stage 3 introduces the movement, the footwork. So now those combinations become dynamic.
Okay.
And then by the time you get to stage 4, you're actually reacting to a partner. So you're adapting your techniques to their movements.
Oh, wow.
You're starting to, really bring in that element of responsiveness.
Yeah, so it's getting more real, I guess, as you go.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like you're not even thinking anymore. You're just,
Right.
reacting, responding.
Yeah.
It's all
It's all instinctual at that point.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting how each stage kind of builds upon the one.
Progressive, yeah.
Yeah, and it's always coming back to that idea of impact.
Right.
But it's like we've been talking about. It's not just the physical. You mentioned emotional control earlier.
Yes.
How does that play into this?
Well, you know how you were talking about the pyramid? Emotional control is like the mortar. right? It kind of holds it all together, because Sensei Carrión, he really stresses that true
Yeah.
impact. It has to come from a place of, emotional stability and clarity,
Oh, I see.
right? I mean, think about it. If you're angry
Yeah.
or you're afraid,
Right.
your movements get all,
Yeah, you tense up.
you
Right.
tense up, you're erratic, you're
Our
unfocused.
technique falls apart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But if you can find that center,
Right.
that calmness,
Right.
then you can channel all your energy with precision, with purpose.
It's like that. It's like that saying, "The eye of the storm."
Yes,
There's
exactly.
there's so much power in that stillness,
Absolutely.
in that inner
It's
calm.
like discipline.
All right.
It really is.
Yeah. Yeah. It's easier said than done, for sure.
Oh, tell me about it. Especially, when you're in the heat of training,
Right, right.
or even just, in everyday life.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's something that Sensei Carrión, he really emphasizes in all the stages, but especially as you get, to like stage 5 and 6, where you're bringing in these elements of kata and kumite.
Okay, now for those listening who maybe aren't familiar with those terms,
All right.
can you kind of break those down for us and explain how they fit into all this?
Sure. So, we've been talking about striking and combinations and movement, right?
Right.
Kata takes all of that.
Okay.
And it sort of sequences it into these specific forms,
Okay.
almost like choreographed patterns.
Yeah.
But, and this is key, they're not just pretty movements.
Right.
Sensei Carrión, he refers to them as blueprints.
Oh, interesting.
Right. He wants his students to be looking for what he calls the bunkai.
The bunkai.
Yeah, which
Yeah.
is like the hidden application
Oh, I see.
within those forms.
So it's like you're decoding a secret language
Yes,
almost.
exactly.
Finding the real world application within these movements.
And this is where that idea of individual interpretation really comes in.
Okay.
Remember how we were talking about, Karate Do is an art, not an exact copy?
Right. Yeah.
He wants his students to find their own expression within those forms.
Oh, wow.
To adapt the techniques to their own body type, their own strengths.
That's a really cool way to look at it, I think.
Yeah, it's not one size fits all.
Right, right.
Right, you got to find what works for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then, that takes us to stage 6, which is kumite,
Okay.
which is where you're actually sparring.
Right.
You're applying those techniques in a more, free form way.
Right. More dynamic.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
But again, even here, Sensei
yeah.
Carrión, he emphasizes, it's not just about throwing punches and kicks.
Right. Yeah.
It's about strategy.
Oh, wow.
It's about timing. It's about understanding distance and angles.
It's almost like a physical game of chess.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. But fueled by Heiwa. Remember that?
Right, right. So that emotional control is still there,
It's always there.
guiding everything.
Always guiding everything.
Yeah, it's really fascinating to me how these concepts of impact and peace they seem to like weave together.
They're inseparable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
throughout his whole approach.
They really are.
It really does go beyond just the physical techniques.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that makes Sensei Carrión's approach so unique.
Right.
He sees traditional karate do as this pathway to personal growth, a way to cultivate not just physical strength, but
Right.
mental resilience,
Yes.
emotional intelligence.
Well, it's holistic, really.
It's holistic. It's about becoming a more, well-rounded, complete individual.
It's like he's saying the real fight is within.
Yes.
And then that self-mastery that you gain from that, that kind of ripples outward and impacts how you move through the world, how you interact with others.
It changes everything.
Yeah, yeah.
And speaking of impact beyond Sensei Carrión's work is the reach of the TKI.
Okay.
I mean, they're not just confined to one location.
Right. It's like his teachings have this ripple effect.
It's true, yeah. I mean, they offer seminars all over the world,
Wow.
connecting practitioners from all walks of life.
Yeah.
It's like this global network, all united by these core principles,
That's really something.
impact and Heiwa.
Yeah, and it's not just about, sharing techniques.
Right.
It's about, fostering this dialogue and understanding between different cultures, which is
Exactly.
really, really cool.
Yeah, it's really powerful.
Yeah, it speaks to that unifying power of martial arts, I guess, that they can
Yeah, it's like-
kind of transcend these geographical boundaries.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it really is. And he doesn't stop there.
No, he doesn't.
Right, because he's also, from what I understand, he's a big advocate
Advocate.
for kind of bridging this gap between
Yeah.
traditional martial arts and modern academics,
Loves it.
which is now that's something I haven't heard before.
It's really fascinating.
Yeah, what is he like? What's his vision there?
So he believes that instructors should have, a really solid understanding of not just the physical techniques, but also, anatomy, psychology,
Oh wow.
even movement science.
So it's like taking all of that knowledge
Yeah.
and kind of bringing it into the practice.
Put it all together.
So like imagine if you're learning from a karate instructor,
Right.
and they can, not only show you the technique, but they can actually explain like, oh, this is the biomechanics
Yeah.
of how to like deliver a perfect strike, or
Exactly. Yeah.
these are the psychological factors that are going to influence your reaction time.
Right.
That's incredible.
Game changer. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
It would bring a whole new level of like
Depth and
understand
the art.
and that's what he's going for.
And that's what he's pushing for. Yeah.
He's not content with just kind of passing down these traditions. He wants to seed them.
He wants to see it
Grow, yeah, evolve,
and thrive.
thrive. Exactly.
Yes, in the modern world.
Yeah. It's like he's saying, respect the past,
Right.
but don't be afraid to learn from the present.
Right. Yeah. To integrate new knowledge
Exactly.
and new perspectives.
Yes, 100%.
That's really cool. It's a good reminder that
It's a journey.
it's a journey and that learning never stops.
Never stops, no matter how much you think you know.
Right. Exactly. There's always more.
Always more to learn. Yeah.
So I guess for you listening, we challenge you to think about
How can you bring that same spirit
yeah.
of individual expression
Yeah.
to your own practice, whatever that might be, whether it's, martial arts or
It's a craft.
craft, yeah, or even just life in general.
How you approach your day to day.
How can you find that?
Yeah, where's your impact?
Your own unique impact,
Yeah.
on the world.
It's a big question.
It is a big question.
It's a good one though.
It is a good one.
We hope this deep dive has given you some new ways to think about traditional karate do.
Yeah.
And maybe even